After every crisis that I've experienced, and I've been around for a long time, and so I've seen several, it's always a matter of those who are strong going into these crises generally come out stronger, and those who are weak to begin with fall by the wayside or have to completely reimagine their business. So I expect the same will happen. There will be definite fallout here, but there's an opportunity to get supply and demand back in line once again. And I think you've heard me say, in fact, we've had conversations about this, that I've said for years that America is overstored physically. And as we've grown the online business, not just at Macy's.com and others, but everywhere, that hasn't come. That physical space has not come out. So this is a chance now to accelerate that process of store closures, frankly, to get supply and demand back in right balance.
I want to get to a couple of things that you just raised there, which is the who are the strong and who are the weak, and who may survive healthily and who may not. But I want to pivot a little bit to Main Street retail, where I can well imagine the carnage could be even deeper than in what we would call national retail, the chains. The small stores that operate on a thin capital thread, the small stores whose incomes, whose revenues have just been cut to zero, who probably don't have a large online presence. What's going to happen to them? And then, by extension, what's going to happen to the landlords, the real estate companies that own those stores, that own those locations?
This is the most difficult and challenging piece of this entire equation, and that is because most retail, which is I think is the largest outside of the government, the largest employer in the United States, representing about 50 million jobs, and most of them are small business. And this is my biggest concern, and because most of these small businesses have less than 10 employees, and they don't have an opportunity to have a payroll that can last for 90 days without any income being generated. And as you point out, many of these smaller stores don't have a significant online presence. They count on customers coming into their physical locations. And if these stores are closed, which most of them are today, if they're considered a non-essential business, this is very, very difficult. So there is no immediate solution to that other than some government subsidy to help these smaller businesses get through this time and putting money in the pocket of these employees who potentially will lose their jobs if there is not a quick response in this regard. So this is a big, big concern. Obviously, you also mentioned rent. Can they afford? They won't be able to afford to pay rent. This was a pressure point prior to 2020, and you saw many, particularly Main Street locations, empty, and that they were just not able to satisfy the demand of the consumer of the physical retail stores, because as I said, there's just too many of them. And so there's already holes in the real estate portfolio when it comes to retail locations, and this is going to broaden that, particularly on the Main Street stores and the smaller mom-and-pop stores.
So you began by talking about how the strong will emerge, the people that were strong, the stores that were strong going in will emerge maybe even stronger than before. Those that were weak will either die or emerge weaker than before. Give me some names in each category, if you don't mind.
Well, in the strength category, which I prefer to talk about, is I think companies like Walmart and Target particularly have done a terrific job this year. Home Depot and Lowe's is coming on. Those companies have performed well in the big box category. And by the way, in all cases, they're accelerating their growth online. If I can say so, none of them had particularly strong online businesses 2 years ago, and they've put capital investment into that category, and it's paid off for them. So I think they will continue to perform after this crisis is past us. I think those companies will continue to perform. I also think that you mentioned Lululemon, or someone did. I think Jim Cramer mentioned Lululemon this morning as being having a terrific quarter. And once again, you can't just look at who had a good quarter, because the last quarter means nothing compared to what this quarter is going to look like. It's all of us are going to suffer this particular quarter and the quarter after, perhaps. But if a company like that has been strong before, showing great signs of consumer demand, consumers like the product, like the experience, I think they're going to come out well. I think at the end of this day, companies like that will come out well, like the big box companies as well.